Hi there, I'd like to show you how I create my pot holder and apply the finish. This is every craftsman's pain. So I start by taking acrylic and mixing the shade I want by adding 2 or 3 colors. Here I'm using brown, black, and purple. Initially, I thoroughly mix the acrylic to get that perfect shade I need for the edges. You can choose any color. Whatever you fancy, then once the color is mixed, I add ground mother of pearl from Epoxies. You can use nail dust, whichever mother of pearl you like, but make sure it's powder, not glitter, because glitter won't have any effect and will congest the acrylic. Here you specifically need pearlescent dust that will remain even underneath the acrylic. Mix it well and don't stir with patting motions, but mix as if scooping inside, because if you stir like you're stirring paint with patting motions, all the powder will stay around your cup. I apply this mixture with a broad brush. I do not mix it with water. As you can see, there's no water because I need it to dry as quickly as possible, and water dilutes the color and reduces the intensity. The mother of pearl won't shine as much if it's diluted with water. Unfortunately, this doesn't show on video. You can't really see the shine here, but once the piece hardens, I'll definitely show it off. See, even on the brush, you can see how it shines. It's really cool. I got tired of just gold and silver or sparkly, and I wanted something different. Okay, now how I apply the finish. The first step is mixing the resin and hardener, not the resin itself. The hardener and resin are all kept warm. Let the resin rest for around 10 minutes on a battery or in warm water. Let it warm up and get rid of the bubbles. It also helps speed up the curing process. Give it time to thicken up. Let it rest. I don't pour freshly mixed resin. I usually work with semi-thick resin. I top it off with a very thick resin. I don't use a thin resin unless I'm doing resin paintings. Here I pour the resin that has thickened up into the center and spread it with a spatula. And while you can't tell from the video, you have to feel it. At this stage, the resin has thickened up and is not scraped off with the spatula. Instead, I stretch droplets to the edge, and when the spatula reaches the edge, I lift the tip upward. Imagine stretching a droplet along the horizon and lifting it up at the end. That's how I stretch it from the center to the edges, smoothing it out carefully without scraping it, and a good finish always requires a generous amount of resin. You need quite a bit of resin. If you skimp on the resin, you won't get the beautiful lens effect or the voluminous finish, and it defeats the purpose of the finish. You'll just end up with bare spots and it won't cover all the craters or pits on the piece, which isn't always the case, but it can be. So I pull the droplet to the edge all around the perimeter, carefully lifting the spatula upward, always lifting it upward, and by this stage the resin it's not quite caramel-like, but it's getting close, and I take a droplet and run it again along the edges, stretching it more. Because it is at these places that resin tends to contract and leave bare spots. This is something you absolutely must do. It may seem like a simple thing, but it needs to be done and you need to feel the resin. Resin goes through several stages of curing, and you should do your finish at these stages. Because if you just pour fresh, uncured resin, it won't work out. And about popping bubbles, do it 6 to 7 minutes after you've applied the resin, but feel it out, see how it behaves. Because if you try to pop the bubbles right away, the resin will soften and run off. So don't rush it and enjoy getting a beautiful finish. I hope you find it helpful.